Over the last couple of weeks, I've been talking a lot about making a toolbox for this tractor, and a couple videos ago, I started it. In this video, I'm gonna finish it. That's what's going on today on Farmertylerranch. I went through and ground off the bad welds on the corners and redid them, and I think they came out a lot better the second go around. So now I need some sort of a mounting bracket and some sort of a lid for this thing. I got this 1/2-inch strip of aluminum that I'm going to use to go around the edges of the lid to kind of help keep water or anything else out of the toolbox. And my thought is to just try to bend this piece so that it follows the perimeter of the lid that I cut out. I don't think it won't make it all the way around, but it'll get 3 sides, and then we can just do a straight piece on the 4th side. Let's get close. It's not bad, but this was the easy one. The hard one is this one here. The truth. Oh yeah, that'll work. I think I've got it more or less clamped into place to where I can start tacking and then moving clamps until I've got it on there kind of more how I want it. Let's start tacking and see what happens. I got everything tacked up here, and I got a little prop that is going to help me a lot with keeping everything steady while I'm putting this on. So there's nothing left but to do it. I let the lid cool down completely, and I left these pieces of angle iron clamped on here to kind of act as heat sinks in hopes that this lid has not warped too much from the heat from welding. So everything is perfectly cool to the touch now. We're going to take this all apart and see if we got a big bow in it or not. This looks pretty good. It's got a little bit of a bow in it, but not too bad. I don't know how well you guys are gonna see that in a wide angle lens, but there is a little bit of warpage, but not terrible. In fact, we can see how this fits on the box right now. Okay, well now's the moment. There we go. Took a minute. We're good. I intentionally left this a little bit big so that it would have room to hinge open. And it looks like, yeah, I think it's all right. It doesn't actually, it doesn't teeter-totter. I think it looks pretty cool. So next, I got to start working on the mounting bracket, and as things often do, my design has changed, and I'm going to make this probably a lot more complicated than it needs to be, but I think it's going to look cool when I'm done. Well, it's starting to look like something now. I think the only thing that's left to do is I got to put a hinge on this so that the lid just doesn't go flopping off of this thing. And I had several different ideas for the hinge. What I would really like to have on this is an aluminum piano hinge. Unfortunately, my local hardware store did not have one of those, and I don't really want to wait to order. I'd really like to get this done today. So I think what I'll do is just a very basic style hinge using some flat tabs and some bolts, and it's not going to be as good as the piano hinge, but it will work. Well, it's certainly not without its flaws, but I think it's done. In fact, I think it's ready to go put on the tractor. There's that one. Well, I'm looking at it, and I think maybe I want it a little bit forward, which is easy to do, so let's just do it. Maybe more like there. Well, put in a liquid wrench, crescent wrench, drawbar pin, and Well, I'm pretty happy with that. I think that using the bolts on the hinge there, if that lid starts bouncing around, working itself open, you know, I can tighten those up a little bit so that it hopefully doesn't do that. But just those few basic tools, I feel like can get me out of almost, maybe I shouldn't even say it, but it'd get me out of a lot of jams. Now, I'm sure that there are gonna be people out there that say, you know, that I spent so much time working on this that, you know, for the value of my time, I could have just went and bought a toolbox and I would have been better off. And I've explained this philosophy before, but I just really don't feel that way, because when I started this project, it was only about half to get a toolbox. The other half, or what I really was hoping to gain from this, was a lot of arc time and practice with my aluminum TIG welding. In fact, you might have noticed that some of these pieces I fully welded out, even though that probably wasn't necessary. Just having a couple of short beads would have been sufficient, but this is why. You know, a lot of people, when they want to practice welding, they'll just take out some scrap pieces and sit there at the table and weld bead after bead after bead, and when you're all done, you just take that piece of metal and throw it away. Well, in this case, I take that piece of metal and I bolt it on the tractor, and now I have something useful. And even though the quality of that toolbox did not come out as high as where I hope to one day be, I do feel like I learned a lot, and I got a lot more confidence as far as machine settings, techniques, and being able to identify problems before they became big problems. And those are the kind of things that you only learn with experience. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.